First of all, do y'all think that I would look? I feel like I miss the bangs. Like I need something. This isn't doing it for me. I miss having curtain bangs, okay? I'm gonna get curtain bangs again. First of all. Second of all. Second of all. Okay, today's gonna be just like a mixed bag of stuff because I don't know. I feel like making these videos has just been like putting me in like an upbeat mood, like just happier. It's just been putting like making these has just been putting me in like it's just been putting me in like a cutesy mood. I don't know. I like it. So I'm just gonna keep like doing it. First of all, can you see? I made carrot juice. Okay, I don't want it to fall. So I'm just gonna be drinking some carrot juice, I guess. I made it in my blender with, you put the carrots in, you put water in, and you just blend it. That's it. And then I have like a little strainer thing, like a mesh strainer. I just put it through there, juice. Okay. First of okay, like there's just so many things that I could say right now. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. First of all, show and tell. Look at these. I lost my these are knockoffs, okay? Vivienne Westwood knockoffs. I found them around in like Deptford High Street in a beauty shop, and I got them and they're so cute and I wear them all the time, and I lost one. So now I don't have it. So I'm gonna go back and get more, but I'm showing this because mark my words, one day I'll have these like for real. Like I'm gonna have like the real ones. I'm not gonna have the knockoffs. But honestly, the knockoffs are fine for now. Like they're cute. I wonder if people can tell. People can probably tell I'm wearing a knockoff. Let's be real. Let's be real. But also, I found like there's a house like 2 houses down from me, and they keep putting cool stuff out, like just trinkets and things for people to like take. I see that a lot here. Like people leave stuff just on. It's like very obviously meant for you to take. Like it's just stuff like on like their curb, and it's just random things, like not things that they'd leave there. Like this is they have like 3 pairs of sunglasses out there, but I found these. Wait, I kind of like them. I've constantly been on the hunt for like a perfect pair of sunglasses for me that don't make me look like um a soccer mom. Wait, I'm just not putting them on. Hold on. I kind of vibe with them though. I kind of like these. They're not even expensive. I think they're from Boots, but when I saw them, I was like, these are kind of giving glamour to me. I don't know, right? I don't know. I kind of like them, but anyways, when I make these, I'm like, this is like the delusion in me. Okay, right now, like nobody watches these. Like I only get probably like 4 views per video, but that's how I want it. Like I don't really want like random people yet watching the videos, okay? But these are here for when I get like, these are here for when I get famous. Like, and obviously like, it's meant to be like, happen for me. But these are just for the memes, for people to see like my journey. If you're one of my 2 friends who subscribes to this channel and watches my videos, you're like, Raquel, you're crazy, but that's okay, guys. Like you'll see it happening. Just kidding. Okay, wait, I was gonna think, do I have more things to show? I actually have like something planned that I want to talk about, but first of all, I don't know. I feel like I just want to like mess around. I don't really have anything to show, I guess. This is my I'm so mad because I got like one of my coworkers at the hostel works at TikTok, and he brought like a bunch of like TikTok merch for us that they just gave him, and he had like these notebooks. So I got one, and I've been vibing. Look, you're like, what's happening? I've been really vibing with it. I've been writing in it every day on the train. And my cat, she can't let me have anything. She eats paper. So she came through and just, I left it on my table, and she literally ate this amount. I'm concerned for her, but I'm gonna get her. I finally got some money to get her a slow feeder today, so I'm gonna get her a slow feeder after I finish this. But yeah. First of all, an update on my statistics journey. I want to talk about how my brain works because my brain, like, I feel like it's so good for me to like I don't know. I feel like I just get inspiration from like anything and everything. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm not a very linear learner. Like I feel like I take information from any and all sources, and any and all sources could contribute to important like things for me. So let me show you, like, hold up. Oh my goodness. The mom of the kid that I nanny, she lent me this book, Surfing Uncertainty. It's a neuroscience book. And I actually got it on my iPad because I love to annotate and I don't want to mess up her book because I'm going to give it back to her, I'm assuming. So I got it on my iPad and I've been reading it, okay? And this book is basically about, it's basically about, I'm only like in the very beginning, but it's basically about how the brain is basically like a prediction machine. Like it's basically made to just be predicting things all the time. And what's weird is that actually it is predicting, it's like, how to put it? It's constantly trying to predict things before they happen, sort of like to, okay, I understand it, but I don't know if I'm explaining it well. Okay. It's like, it's trying to sort of orient us into like action through constantly sort of predicting what's going to happen next, you know? Rather than necessarily like just responding to the world. It's a very horrible explanation of what this book is talking about. I've been reading this, and when I read books about neuroscience, it's so heavy for me because I feel like I am unpacking everything that's going on in my head and everything that's like, I start to see everything in the world through like the lens of what I'm learning, and I see it. Okay, and I think for me particularly, this book has been like interesting because I struggle with this heavily. Like, not struggle, this is like a feature of the brain, but my brain is on overdrive with it. My brain's always trying to predict things, but like to a really negative extent. Like I never got an OCD diagnosis per se, but I feel like I very clearly have it, but I didn't ever go all the way through the diagnosis. But anyways, so my brain's doing this like too much, and I'm also like, you know, I'm big into tarot reading, but I'm also like a big, like, I'm so, like, I feel like I healed this so much, but I'm merely a horrible mind reader. Like, I'm always trying to read people's minds and predict what they're going to say and predict what they're going to do, like, all the time, like, on overdrive. And so I've actually been using, it's funny when I read neuroscience books, I don't know why I treat them like a self-help book as a mentally ill person. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And I feel like I've just been unpacking like my head, and it's actually been extremely useful to have this information. But anyways, back to statistics. Basically, like, okay, so back to statistics, I had this realization today. I've been really sitting with like the idea that we're all just making these predictions all the time, and the brain is basically built to be creating these like predictive models for us. And I've been trying to incorporate that into my wider theories and things like that. That I'm assuming I'll you know, I'll come up with something. I'm thinking about it. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, but you know, I've been struggling with statistics a little bit in the last few days and the last few weeks, I guess. And then it like clicked for me that I was like, I feel like anytime I see that something's actually intuitive to us, it helps me so much. And I was like, we are actually, like, statistics is all about creating good predictions, you know, like, it's all about, like, it's just nothing. And actually, like, the interesting thing about I'm finding about statistics that I didn't really know until I took this class is that it's really a lot about, like, that's the whole point of research, right? Is that you're taking a pool of like information and you're trying to get something that's going to be applicable across the board. So it's basically a big prediction. You just, you know, you're hoping that it's going to be like basically accurate. And you're basically hoping it's going to be accurate, but there's a chance always that you're not going to be accurate. And that's like the whole point of like what I'm learning right now, the null hypothesis and standard deviations and all of that, right? Which I'm trying to like let it soak in, but it's sunk in so bad. Like last night, I just like, it hit me. Like, I feel like I'm always processing things like in the background, like a lot. And I just get like these like clicks, right? And I was like, we are literally living statistics all the time. Like, my brain's always creating statistical models all the time. you know, and I think that like I haven't gone back to my class yet. I only have like a bit left, like 4 lessons, but I think that's really going to help me when I'm going back through because like I said, I'm not actually struggling with the math side of things. Like I know how to do the formula, it's very simple. But I've just been basically struggling to put all of the concepts into like a framework, like a mental framework, so I can understand like when and where to use it and like what it's basically trying to do. So then I was like, that's interesting. So I think that's gonna help me like a lot because it's like, for example, like I'm gonna look back and be like, what is like a null hypothesis that I would naturally create about a situation? You know, I feel like that's just how my mind works. Like I feel like I just pull from a lot of sources, and usually I feel like I understand a lot through other things, you know? Like I feel like even for example reading like stuff like about I don't know, wellness. I don't know, just stuff like that. I feel like I end up like things ping pong for me, and I feel like I just end up creating ideas based off like really random combinations of things. And I don't know, maybe that's why, maybe that's part of how I learned in compared like as a comparative literature and societies major, but I don't know. I think that's just how my brain works. So, or maybe that was just a really good, convenient coincidence connection that I ended up in that major. But anyways, let me put my book back so my cat doesn't eat it. But okay, so that's that. But then, yeah. Oh, and I was just gonna say hello, people of the future, because I assume that I don't care if people watch these now. I want people to watch them in the future when I actually do something important or cool. And then it's like, oh, okay. Then there's like a context. But anyways, so what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna talk about the thing I was thinking about on the train was it's like I wanna record like my experience growing up with my mom as a mom or really with my parents, but I think I was like I feel like growing up with an artist parent is a cool like experience and I wanted to like chat about that. I don't know, talk about that. Um I was okay, so my mom is an artist. She makes like these really conceptual sort of pieces. Like they're very like installation art. She makes like a lot of everything. Installation art, sculptures, um these really cool textiles. I love my mom's art. Okay, I'm a massive fan. Genuinely. It's not just cuz she's my mom. I think her art is so cool. I love the kinds of works that she makes and I love what I love for my mind, how my mind works, which is funny because it's just her mind that she passed down to me. So of course I like it. But she makes like these very like she always has like a concept to it. Like she always makes them very like I don't know. She has like this whole like framework and language around what she's doing. My mom has the same type of brain as me, I swear. To the bad and the good, I think, but I think we both have the same type of brain. And my mom's always, I feel like my mom's always like making her own language based off everything that she's learning, all the things that she's sort of influenced by. And I think that it's really cool. Like she always, I feel like her art is never just like, it's never just to be pretty. Like I feel like sometimes it's things that are deep in her subconscious mind or it's things that are very like, she has like this whole entire like world around what she's doing. Her solo show, have you seen The Dark Parrot? I actually went to see that in person, of course, because she's my mom. I was amazed. I loved that show. And I thought it was so beautiful. And I feel like my mom is so slept on. Like, she's so underrated. And it makes me so upset because I think she's literally amazing. Like, her art is so cool. And I've never seen anybody doing anything like her art. And I think my mom always sort of had tension with art community and stuff like that. I think she'll say that herself. And I think that I see it on a certain degree. Like I think that it's really hard to break through with something unique sometimes. I think that a lot of times I think this is the case in any sort of creative field that you have to end up catering to what's trendy, and I think that certain voices, certain white voices, young voices, whatever, like I think sometimes they get, you know, all the kids that are getting like their parents paying them through art school end up you can go to like any self-made big artist, like they're gonna tell you probably the same thing. Like, I feel like a lot of the art world is just a lot of rich kids that got paid through, they went to art school for bachelors, and they went for masters, and they do things that are sort of in line with the current trends in contemporary art, and they have this whole story around it that's something to do with, what's popular right now in our cultural narratives. And my mom is not that at all. What I like about her art is that she talks about, I feel like she goes into all of these sorts of like ancient like things, like ancient artifacts, and like she talks about her identity being Brazilian, being like mixed, indigenous, all this stuff. And I think that it's really beautiful, and it's just art that I haven't seen in other places. And sometimes I think that might be difficult because it's hard to know where she fits. I think I feel like her art just toes the line between all sorts of different, what's the word, mediums. And it's just like, I feel like this is the thing, I feel like my mom and I, we think in this like 5D way, where it's so like, I'm like this, it's like pulling from all these different crazy sources. Whenever my undergrad thesis, I don't know, I'm like, now I'm trying to be more focused and focus in on what's like, more sciencey stuff, psychology, whatever. But it was such a cool chance for me to just pull from all these crazy ass sources. And I think that that's how my mom and I think. Like, we're very 5-dimensional thinkers. Like, we're just like from all these places. But anyways, I think it was really funny growing up with my mom as a mom, because she is so like I don't even want to say eccentric, because I don't think that does it justice. But I think that we always, our house, like, growing up was filled with, like, my mom's art. It was, like, mannequins, like, sculptures, like, just random things. I don't know. We had, like, hands, like, random hands and, like, plaster sculptures. And you'd go into the back of the house, and my mom was just, like, in the, like, backyard, just, like, making this crazy, like, plaster thing. We had, like, my friend, in one of her like first pieces that she did, like installations that she did, that was she makes these sort of like plaster sculptures. Oh, the Silent Chorus, I think that's what it's called. One of my best friends, she was like a model for it, and like my mom made her like plastered like her whole face and made like a sculpture of her too, and that was funny. I feel she had like a few of my friends in there. One of my other childhood friends, and I just feel like, yeah, everyone was always sort of thought my mom was really cool and interesting, because we just had such an eccentric, eclectic sort of upbringing. Before my mom went back for her master's, she actually, before my mom went back for my master's, she already was doing some art, and then or maybe this is while she was in her master's, but my parents started a nonprofit, Virginia Center for Latin American Art. And this was when we were very young, like middle school, like end of elementary school. And we were always, I feel like this is the thing, is my mom and dad are they're both very smart. They're both ambitious, and like, I feel like in different fields, different things that they're interested in. And they just have these big ideas. And I feel like we, as my sister and I, are sort of dragged along to all of these crazy things that my parents would do. Like, when they were doing the Virginia Center for Latin American Art, like, we were there, we were helping, even being, like, we had to get community service hours in middle school, and I got so many of my community service hours from helping my mom and dad with the Virginia Center for Latin American Art. And they had this crazy gallery on a school bus, and I don't know, they just did all these crazy, fun things, and we were sort of just there for the ride. Like, if they were doing it, like, we had to show up. Like, we had to be there, and sometimes it was annoying and boring, and we didn't want to be there, but it's character building, You had to show up, you had to go. And when my mom was doing her master's degree, I think that was a really interesting transition for her and her identity. And we, like, it was, like, I think one of my core memories is just her writing her dissertation. And this is the thing, I don't know, or just, like, having my mom ask me, even being 14, like, for my input, like, what do you think of this art piece? What do you think it means? Or, like, she'd have me read, like, pieces of this, like, super conceptual, like, dissertation thesis thing she was writing for her master's program be like, read this, what do you think it means? And it's just like this like super like abstract conceptual sort of thing about just, I don't know, language and artifacts and society, and I'm just sitting there like, okay. Like, I guess I read it, and but it was cool because I understood, and I think that I don't know, I think like it made me, I think my mom never saw me as being like, I feel like she always saw my intelligence as being good enough to be reading her master's dissertation at 14. I don't know. So that, I don't know. And my mom, like, she always called me like her curator because she would, like, jokingly, you know, she'd always ask me her opinion, like, you know, like, what do you think, which pieces do you think I should put? Like, which one do you like better? You know, she'd be making like all of these beautiful textiles and things like that. And I think that was just a cool experience to always be, I don't know, she'd just be like, sometimes she'd just be like, what do you think this means? And I'd be like, well, I think this is like a commentary on, you know, how, I don't know, femicide, like, you know, and genocide, whatever. Like, you know, my mom has all these deep themes that she talks about. And like, I'm forgetting the word feminicide. But anyways, I'd be like, yeah, it's about like, I think it's about this and this. She'd be like, good, because that's exactly what I was trying to like make it about and like all this stuff. And I think that was kind of a cool experience. I think just always having, I feel like it always tested like my knowledge and like what I was like, it just made me a good thinker, I think. Like it, and just, I don't know, I feel like I always was like in it with her. Like I didn't write anything for her. I didn't do her art for her, obviously. But I think that I felt like a part of her team, and I think sometimes when I was like a teenager, I'd get kind of like annoyed, like I don't want to read like this, or I don't want to, you know. But I think that overall, like that was a really cool experience for me, and I feel like really grateful that I had that experience with my mom of just seeing her. Also, I think it was really cool for me seeing her, just exploring her culture, her identity, and just building something, especially in the very early stages. So my mom got this big, like, warehouse space, and she basically, like, she was building, it was kind of cool because I don't know, I don't remember the whole situation, but she needed a gallery space for her master's show, and then she built, like, every day, like, this was when I was probably, like, maybe I was 13, no, 14, I think I was 14, because I was, like, first year of high school, and basically, like, my mom, like, my sister and I would have to go there, like, we would go to the warehouse, and it was kind of like we got, like, the first showing, like, we went there, and my mom was, like, had set up, like, was like, whoa, like, she'd set up the whole thing, and sometimes I think it's exactly, like, we're 14, like, we're like, I don't want to be in a dusty old warehouse, but at the same time, it was really cool, like, just seeing my mom building this career for herself, and she had all these crazy cool pieces, and I don't know, I feel like my parents never shied away from just telling us, like, what was real. We just always felt, like, so immersed in, like, their projects, their lives. I don't know, like, we weren't, like, I don't think that we were ever, like, I think we were just thrown right in, kind of, like, you know, there's not, like, we were just thrown right in. It's like, okay, there we are, like, we're sort of seeing, like, all this in action, we're there, they're building something, like, they're being ambitious, they're trying to create something, and, like, we're there too, and, like, you know, I think that was sort of an interesting experience. I think it definitely gave me my sense of ambition. Is just always see, my parents were just always doing a project together. I think even especially, like, yeah, and just, like, also, I don't know, getting to see my mom's show was really cool, and just seeing it, like, her building this big massive thing, and just having, I think especially as a woman, seeing another woman being intellectual, being an intellectual, being an artist, and just creating this, like, world of her own, I think that was really cool for me. And I think that I just always saw my mom as a very intelligent woman, and I think I don't know, I think I have always really wanted to see her be really successful, because I think that she deserves to be extremely successful. I think her art is just so cool, so beautiful, so, like, deep, and I think it's so, I just think that she's so worthy of that. And I don't know. I've always like just wanted, sometimes I go on her website and I'll just be scrolling, just looking at all her art and just being like, wow, I'm so like amazed by everything that she's made. And I think sometimes I see pieces, I'm like, I don't even remember seeing that, interacting with that. And I don't know. I think that as a woman, I think I also am very like building, like, I don't know, building from my subconscious. And just, I think, yeah, I just feel like I got that from her. And I don't know, I just think that her style is so unique. I don't know, if personally myself, if I had the money, if I wasn't my mom's daughter and I had the money, I had like a gajillion dollars lying around, I'd be out there like personally collecting her stuff because I think it's so cool. So like